Can I be honest? Finding curriculum is so overwhelming. And for somebody who's been searching for curriculum for years, I still find it overwhelming because now I'm having to replace our language arts curriculum. Right now I'm currently just looking, but it's like the search of going down a rabbit hole of watching video after video, reading blog post after blog post, asking numerous amount of people what they would recommend. It sometimes can be exhausting. So in today's video, I'm going to share what curriculum I'm currently looking at, as well as some factors to consider to make your search a little better. Okay, first, when it comes to homeschooling, everyone does it differently, right? Different states have different homeschool laws, different parents have different teaching styles, different children have different learning styles and interests, and everyone have a different schedule, a different mission, a different why. So it's like so many factors to take into consideration, but there are some tips to make it a little bit easier to find what you're looking for. So I just took down a few little tips in my phone to share about like picking homeschool curriculum if you are a bit overwhelmed or if it seems like it's a bit much. First thing you want to do, or something that may be beneficial, is to research the different homeschool styles. So there's Montessori, there's classical, there's Charlotte Mason, there's Waldorf, there's unit studies, eclectic, there's, I think I'm missing some, but there's so many, and each of them are different, right? I myself consider myself to be an eclectic homeschooler, meaning I take things from each of the different styles that I feel like will fit us, right? And so I don't have a one-size-fits-all curriculum. I don't have a one-size-fits-all like philosophy that I believe. I just pick and choose whatever I feel like goes well with my children, right? And so once you really research that and see what you like, it'll be easier because there's a whole list of curriculum that'll pop up based on those learning styles, the philosophy, and stuff like that. You also want to consider your child's learning style. You have visual, kinesthetic, you have auditory, and I think I'm missing one. But in the early years, children are usually kinesthetic and very hands-on, right? So that's why I kind of like gravitate towards the hands-on, STEM and toys and stuff like that. But research homeschool styles. Try to figure out your child's learning style. It may be a combination of the different, learning styles, but all children have at least one or two, right? And then you also want to do a little research, whether it's a blog post, YouTube, like the free homeschool curriculum or whatever. First, consider your budget. Are you wanting something that's free? Are you wanting something that's inexpensive? Do you already have a budget for your homeschooling? Do you want something that's online? I forgot to mention that. Do you want to do public school at home? Like, there's so many factors. But for myself, I wanted to try things that was free or inexpensive. So when I first got started, I was doing like the all-in-one workbooks that you could purchase from like Walmart, get books from the Dollar Tree and stuff like that, just so I could see what's in there. And this is for the early years, right? Preschool, pre-K, kindergarten, maybe even first grade. Those books like the Brain Quest and different all-in-one books, those were very beneficial for me because I didn't know like where to look. There's so much information out there. I wanted something to get started. So consider that, but you can also start looking at samples of curriculum. Many websites, many curriculum offers sample lessons where you can see what's included, what's expected, how long the lesson is, how you should use the curriculum, who is it good for, and stuff like that. So checking out the samples or printing out the free version online is going to be very, very beneficial for you in terms of investing a whole lot of money. So there's a whole lot of curriculum that's expensive, I will say that. And it's like, how do I know how much money to spend? How do I know it's going to be actually beneficial? How do I know if it's going to work for us? The true answer is you don't know, unless you kind of like use the samples, and even then you don't get the full, view of what it all entails. But I will say that, so the samples are so helpful, and I find that having a budget, a small budget in the very beginning, is beneficial because you're likely to switch what you use over the first few years until you figure out what's our style, what fits our family, what's my children like. And let me just say, like, all children are different. So for my oldest, I use this. For my youngest, I use this. Children are different. So don't think that just because you invest a lot of one curriculum, all children can use it. That's usually not the case because they have different learning styles, right? Different strengths, different weaknesses. And then the last thing as far as a tip that I would share, is to be open to switching or pausing curriculum. You don't have to do every single page in a curriculum. You don't have to stick to the same curriculum because you invest in money. I will say, if you don't have more money to spend, look into free resources, look into print off at home, look into doing like online games, inexpensive workbooks. But I would say, like, it's okay if a curriculum don't work out. It's okay. But I will say you have to do it enough to know and be consistent to know that, okay, it's the curriculum. And like, don't start something and just continue to switch and flip every other week. You have to see it through to a certain extent in order to get a good understanding of how it's actually working, what progress is being made or not being made, and things of that nature. So with that being said, I'm currently looking for a language arts curriculum. We're using the good and the beautiful. It was free. I printed it off, $0 spent. And it was like, I wanted something that was inexpensive or free, because guess what? I don't want to splurge in the early years if I don't have to. I like to invest in books. I like to invest in puzzles. I like to invest in games. I like to invest in field trips, experiences. If I can save on curriculum and my children are learning, that's what I'm going to do. And they have been learning. It has been okay. But me personally, as their teacher, as their mom, I want something more. So I picked up this book. I was just doing some research, watching YouTube videos, and it was like, oh Lord, I'm going down the rabbit hole again. But I chose the Well Trained Mind First Language Lessons 1 because I wanted something that was easy. I wanted to test it out. I seen a few homeschoolers talking about it, and they said it was very gentle for the early years. And so I think it was on like $12, $13 on Amazon, and I even saw it on Walmart like pre-owned for like $5. I'm like, I can get that. Let me order this and see how it's looking. Of course, I'm just getting started with this. We've done a few lessons in it, and I don't know, I think it may be a good fit for my 5-year-old, but I like it so far that I can do it with my girls. The first 41 lessons is oral, meaning it doesn't require any writing and things of that nature. It is intended for grade 1. So it's like many children who start grade 1, earlier, they're not really well equipped for writing and things like that. So I do like that. But just an overall gist of the curriculum, it is a grammar only curriculum, meaning it doesn't cover phonics, it doesn't cover writing or anything like that. So you have to add additional curriculums to get those skills mastered, right? Language arts encompasses a different number of things, not just grammar, not just, phonics, not just writing. It's a mixture of it. So this is the first language lessons, only focusing on grammar. And so I felt like that's something I really want to have a good basis on. I feel like for phonics, you did a really good job of finding things that work. But this one is just grammar, okay? There are 100 lessons, and they're very simple. They say they want you to do at least 2 to 3 lessons per week, depending on how your child is grasping it. With this curriculum, I will consider it like more classical. In terms of like homeschooling styles, it's like you read to them, they're having to memorize the definitions, and they're having to narrate or recall the stories or make up their own sentences. And with this book, it's like you are training them by speaking this, grammar correctly, right? So instead of them giving a one-word answer like, are you a boy or a girl? If they say girl, this curriculum wants you to say, I am a girl, meaning to train them to answer every question in a complete sentence, which is something that's good, because if you start those habits now as a young child, then as they get older and get into more advanced writing and, stuff like that, they already know what's right and what's correct. So it's inside the book, it tells you how to use the book, and it said that young children are capable of learning way more than a lot of people, think they are. That was like when we teach our children the average, we train them to be average. And I don't want my kids to be average, okay? So it says, instead, we can grow our children who exceed the average by exposing them to above average content. And so that's kind of how this is illustrated. They have 4 goals for this curriculum. Is to train the child's ear by allowing him to listen to correctly spoken language, to train the child's speech by practicing correctly spoken grammar with him, to train the child's attention by reading aloud to him and having him narrate back to you the content or storyline using proper grammar, to teach beginning skills in grammar, capitalization, and punctuation. Remember, exposure, not mastery, is the goal in this level. You want to go get an orange? Okay, so this curriculum has a 4-strand approach. Strand 1 is memory work. Strand 2 is copy work. Strand 3 is narration, and strand 4 is grammar. So with memory work, that's just memorizing short rules and definitions, short poems. With the copy work, they're just rewriting specific sentences or whatever they have in here for them to copy, or you can adjust it based on how you want them to do it. Strand 3 with narration, they have picture narration, which is where the children look at the picture and describe it using correct grammar. And then there's story narration, where you read them a short story and then you ask them to tell you about the story in your own words, right? Also in proper language. And then the last one is grammar, and that encompasses all of the formal lessons, nouns and verbs, things of that nature. And then they recommend you doing 2 to 3 lessons per week. So upon just seeing this, I feel like this is a good foundation. The first 41 lessons is only oral, so you are talking to them, they're talking back to you, you're not requiring them to write anything, and I absolutely love that for the younger children. And then from lesson 42, that's when the copy work starts. It will require them to have written practice, but it's not to replace a writing program, but it's going to target specific grammar skills. And then it has like instructions for how to use this lesson. So they have like different fonts for the instructor and what the student needs to do, as well as notes is also in a smaller font. They have definitions in bold, and it's very simple. Also, it doesn't require you to purchase a lot of things. So it's like, if you wish to gather all your materials for the first grade in advance, you will need a map of your state, business size envelopes and stamps, a calendar, a family calendar, and a child's personal calendar. Scissors, drawing supplies, crayons, highlighter markers, a tape recorder, which I probably won't use, colored construction paper, old magazines to cut up, in a flower seed catalog. That's not a lot of things. So I'm like, okay, I only spent $12. I don't really have to get a lot of things because most of the stuff we have at home already. For the tape recorder, I can just use the thing on my phone to record audio. So it's like, that's pretty easy. So the first lesson is very, very simple. It's introducing common nouns, and my children already have practice with common nouns, verbs, and all that, but verbs and stuff like that. But I do like their approach. I feel like this way of doing it is a deeper understanding, if that makes sense. So say for instance, it says a noun is the name of a person, place, thing, or idea. And then it was like, for the instructor, it said, we will talk about persons first. You are a person. Are you a boy or a girl? This is where I was saying, like, they can't just give a one-word answer. They have to answer in a sentence. So they are supposed to say, I am a girl, or, whatever. And then it says, boy and girl are naming words that are common to a lot of persons. So we call them common nouns. Other naming words that are common to a lot of persons are words like mother, father, sister, brother, grandmother, grandfather, aunt, uncle, and cousin. And as you go on in the lessons, like we did up to, I want to say lesson 4, it'll ask questions like, who is your mother's mother? Or what are they called, basically? And it's like introducing grandmother and grandfather in a way where they have to say, my mother's father is called grandfather or grandmother, or whatever the case may be. So I do like that so far. I skimmed through it, and I just do a little flip through. It seems very, very simple. And of course, you don't have to say exactly what they're saying. You can really just pull out, and make it your own thing. I like to do my own thing, but I also like to have, like, I don't like super structure. I don't. But I do like to see, what's expected and where they're going, and just build upon that. From the first 4 lessons, I was like, that's fine. This is a review. They also have enrichment activities for the proper nouns. Once they did the common nouns with the families, I like that is themed. Then they moved on to proper nouns of first names. So they'll be writing first names with grandma, daddy, you, sister, brother. I do like that. And then it goes on to like story narration, common and proper nouns. They're also memorizing a poem. Like, it seems very simple, but I can see how it can be effective, right? So there are proper nouns, family names again, still working on memorizing poems. And then I'm gonna go all the way to, oh, they have common nouns like living things, so they get into fruit, vegetables. Like I can see this being a proper nouns like states, your address. I can see this being a way to breed into other subject areas, whether it's science with the food groups or geography with the location. Like I can see the potential to add a lot more to this. Yeah, I can see this, you know, to add a lot more to this. So I personally like the setup right now. How effective it's going to be, I'm not sure. I've only heard good reviews about it, but again, it's only grammar. It's not writing, it's not phonics. Days of the week. Then they have like common nouns like cereal, and they have to name a specific name of a cereal like Cheerios, specific type of cookies, toys, books. So I feel like they'll grasp it better that way when you pose it that way. Sometimes some curriculum use it like introducing nouns in a way that is like so distant to where they don't really understand what's understood by common and proper nouns, that they're not able to grasp it too, so they'd be like, okay, proper nouns must have a capital letter. Why? But if you group it with the common noun and the proper noun of things that they see on the daily, then it's like, okay, I can make that connection. So that's how I'm seeing it right now. And then with lesson 42, they start introducing sentences, very, very short sentences so far. Maybe like three sentences starting off, and then making lists, like nothing very extensive, because again, it's geared towards first grade. And my 5-year-old, she's doing the first grade work now, so it's like they're not having to draw a lot. Something I do like is all of the copy work, they encourage you to keep it in a notebook so that it can all be kept together. A lot of porn review, and there's a lot of back and forth between you and your child, and I do love that. I love that. I love being engaged and teaching. They do have different enrichment activities if your child is able to write a lot more. That way it's something else they can do. Like, say if you read them a poem, they will be able to write a list of verbs in that poem, or they'll draw pictures for what you read and stuff like that. And it's a lot of working on capitalization, coming up with their own stories. They're working on abbreviations for addresses, something we haven't really worked on just yet. This is towards the back. Let's see. More copy work. And from the copy work, it just seems like, 1 to 2 sentences. So I think I'm really liking this, just looking at it. Of course, I'm going to try to order the other pieces to this. They do recommend like a writing curriculum as well as a phonics curriculum with the same like publisher. I don't really necessarily need the phonics, but I do want to check out the writing and see how that is. We're also using something else for language arts. We're using Night Zookeeper right now. It's an online language arts curriculum. It's not specifically for homeschoolers, but many homeschoolers use it, and it's in game format. So my girls have been getting extra practice with like forming sentences. They're learning to type a little bit using Night Zookeeper. So if you want a review or something on that, I can film that. They've been using it for a few months. I started off with Night Zookeeper using doing a brand deal, a brand partnership, and we just continue to use it throughout. And I think our subscription is up until April before I have to personally start paying for it. So they've been using it. They've been using it. They enjoy it. So it's like, I can share a little bit about it. But this is the book that I was talking about. First language lessons. I do like the setup. I think it's very simple. I do feel like a lot of the children are going to really grasp a lot. Like you start them early. It's very simple. I'm going to share better things, but table contents, like it's very simple. It's not overwhelming, not too much. I don't think it'll take a long time to do. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. It's fine. Curriculum can be exhausting, y'all. It really can. but we're on this journey together. I'm different because I like to do extra stuff. I like to be extra. I like to pair extra stuff. For some people, that's not, you know, your thing, and I understand that. So I'm taking y'all along the journey. You know, we've been, you know, using this specific curriculum for almost 3 years now, and I'm just like, I wanted to get my feet wet. I didn't want to create every single thing myself. I like to just piece together the interest, the science, the geography, the history, not the math and language arts. I want that to be a solid curriculum to where I don't have to think about if anything is missing or something like that. But yeah, we're making a switch, and I'm trying to just record, you know, as I go through this. Telephone numbers. Yeah, this is interesting. If you have any questions, feedback, suggestions, anything like that, drop them in the comment section. And also, if you made it to the end of the video, leave me a, I don't know, brown heart to let me know that you stayed until the end. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.